and record. All right, there we go. We're live on YouTube. Someone just confirmed, Marky. Morning, guys. Welcome to our morning market update for Thursday, September 5th of 2019. This is George from TRADEPRO Academy. Let me turn around and talk to you guys. Today's a special day. We've invited a lot of you to come out and check out our trading room. So we're opening up our trading room today to all of the YouTube community that registered for the webinar. And it's going to be an exciting day. The reason today is a special day is because we have oil inventories. Traditionally, we have them on Wednesday, but because Monday was a holiday and markets are closed for Labor Day, that whole schedule gets pushed forward. So rather than yesterday at 10:30, crude oil news is today at 11 a.m. So it's going to be a pretty fun webinar, and it's going to be an extended one. We usually cap it till 11 a.m., but we're obviously going to trade crude. So we'll probably go to 11:30 of the European close. It's an exciting day to open it up for everyone, so you guys can come out, see how we trade, and then also get the benefit of seeing how we trade crude oil inventory news. We don't open up the room often. In fact, this is probably the second time in over a year and a half, less than that, because it's a special thing and magic happens in there. So you're going to see some magic secrets. So there you go. All right, let's talk about a few things. We got a pretty busy agenda today. First and foremost, everyone in North Carolina, South Carolina, thoughts and prayers go out to you guys. Be safe. Dorian has escalated once again to a stage category 3 hurricane from a category 2. So it's picking up steam as it goes up the north on the coast of the USA, right? So watch out. That's all I'm going to say. Listen to local news, follow the instructions, and follow evacuation orders if they're in place. All right. Markets have spent all of August looking for some positive news. Last night we got positive news, and that's why stock markets are up. U.S. and China announced that they would hold talks in October in Washington. All right. No dates were set. No details were announced. They just said they're going to talk in Washington in October. They said deputy level officials will be working together in mid-September leading up to this meeting. So it wouldn't be Trump and President Xi, but more of the delegates who are responsible for some of the more minute details. They're going to start talking in the middle of the month and prepare for this October meeting. There's no date yet. All right. There's no date set. Therefore, the meeting isn't 100% official, but the market likes good news. It likes to find reason to rally because we're in a bull market. All right. Some argue we're transitioning to the downside market, but that hasn't been the case yet. And so this is a loop. All right. If you guys haven't caught on yet, let me bring you up to speed on the loop. A meeting gets announced. Everyone gets excited. Donald Trump trolls China. China trolls Donald Trump. All right. And then one party gets upset, decides they don't want to have a meeting. The meeting is off. Markets tank. Tariffs get increased. We wait. Some tweets go back and forth. A meeting date is set with no meeting date. A meeting is going to happen. No date is set. And then this cycle just repeats and loops and repeats and loops, and nothing's coming out of it. I'm telling you this, a lot of traders around the world are losing hope in any kind of trade negotiation. It's getting a little bit ridiculous, to be perfectly honest with you, as it should, but the market doesn't care about ridiculous. The market happens to like ridiculous, and it's up 254 points on the Dow today. And Shanghai markets are up 1%. So China and US are reacting favorably to this news. Oh, thanks, Marky. Screens went black. Thanks, bud. Appreciate it. So who's paying for these tariffs? Well, shortly before the duties are announced on $112 billion worth of goods from China, Target sent a memo to hundreds of its suppliers. So suppliers are people who supply the goods to Target, to retail, to the client. All right, and it warned them that it's going to refuse to accept any cost increases related to tariffs. Basically said, great, there's new tariffs. I don't care. I'm not paying you a penny extra to the suppliers. All right. They said our expectation is that you'll develop appropriate contingency plans so that we don't have to pass these price increases along to the consumer, wrote Mark Triton, Chief Merchandising Officer. So this is a pretty interesting stance. They said Target said we're not passing these costs on to our consumers, but you take the hit. All right. So that's a very at effect way of living. In an ideal situation, they'll negotiate and maybe both of them reduce some of their margins in expectations of continuing their volumes. That's a pretty aggressive maneuver by Target, and I think it's just the beginning of what's going to happen if these tariffs continue to go up and stay on China for a long period of time. Somebody's going to have to take the hit. And if it's not going to be China, it's not going to be US. If it's not going to be suppliers and it's not going to be the companies, then it's going to be the consumer. All right. And that's an inflationary pressure. Prices are going to go up for goods. So this is, some of these effects are starting to trickle in now to the economy in a real sense, with Target being the first to talk about it. With their shares trading just shy of an all-time high, they're about to face some supplier pressure. Apple, in other news, Apple returns to the bond market for the first time since 2017, and why not? Money is so freaking cheap, you should be in the bond market. TradePro should issue bonds at 2.79% for a 30-year loan. That's a no-brainer. All right, that's what Apple just did. They took advantage of the steepest decline in interest rates, and they're joining Apple's joining Deere and Disney by launching its first bond deal since 2017 and selling $7 billion of debt. And you might be wondering, why is a company with $300 billion of cash issuing $7 billion worth of debt? The answer is this. Yeah, OPM, said Marky. Other people's money is always great when you're financing your company. And in addition to that, it's because it's so cheap, right? It's so cheap. They could issue a bond, receive $7 billion of cash and next to nothing payment for it, and use that to pay off some of their debt obligations that are at a higher interest rate. All right, so that's what they're doing. And they're getting it under 3%. 2.79% is a bond offering they want to get into. And that's an update in the corporate debt market. All right, bond issues by big name companies are giving investors a feeling of safety. All right, because they're safe because it's a massive company, but it still pays more than government debt. And so I expect to see a lot of institutional money buy up this Apple debt, all right, and finance Apple's $7 billion bond offering very quickly. I expect it to go literally at the drop of a bucket, because as low of a return as it is, all right, pension funds are looking for safety and some kind of return. They're still underwater. Most pension funds are running on a model of 5% returns annually. If you get 5% returns annually on multiple hundreds of millions, I mean, tell me where you could do that, all right? You can't. That's the answer. With the Bund, the German Bund, that's a negative yield. All right, so these lower interest rates are finally starting to hit on an economic sense. Very interesting things going on, and this is an interesting move from Apple to finance at such a low rate. In today's markets, Japan's up 2.3%, Hong Kong's flat, China's up 1% on the back of this trade optimism. In Europe, at midday, London's down 0.7%, Paris is up 0.9%, Frankfurt's up 0.8%, so we're seeing strong gains in Europe as well. And in the U.S., Dow's up 1%, S&P up 0.9%, NASDAQ up 1.2% and leading the way. And you'll see how we use this information for trading in the room now that we've opened up to you for today. All right, crude oil is down slightly, but coming back. It opened, Boxy, this time I'm going to get it right. Yesterday, my numbers were way off because my chart wasn't scrolled. It's like, that doesn't sound right, but I'm going to go with it because I was under pressure. 56.61 was the open for today's price. Overnight high at the 69s. We'll talk about crude oil today a lot in the room. We're going to be trading it towards 11. S&P 500 got to the 41 yesterday that Marky had targeted. Overnight highs at 71.75 on trade optimism, but you'll be surprised what my first trade will be of the day. Bitcoin's up 0.4%, and treasury yields on the 10-year are down 5 basis points. All right, on today's economic calendar, ADP job numbers came out. Why is ADP important? Because tomorrow we have the non-farm payrolls report coming out at 8:30 in the morning. Elite team, we're going to trade that together at 8:15. Gear up for it. And this is what it looked like. We had 195,000 jobs added versus 148, which is the highest reading since April. But the prior number was revised a little bit lower from 156 to 142. So that will be for the month of July. The revision was a little bit lower, but the August jobs really beat from the ADP. All right, a lot of the gains happened in small business, 66,000 jobs added versus 11 month to month. Medium businesses added as well, 77,000 versus 67. Large businesses lost jobs. Right? They didn't lose, but they added less than the prior. 52,000 versus 78. Construction jobs missed pretty big, and manufacturing is up. All right, so as we look at this report, we now have the confidence in the stock market of a pretty strong beat, and we're expecting non-farm payrolls tomorrow to be positive. If they're not positive, that's a big miss. It's going to be a sell-off. If they are positive, I think the upside is going to be factored into today's market already. All right, initial jobless claims also came out today in line with expectations, not high revisions, pretty much in line. It's a non-event, to be perfectly honest with you. The more important is the ADP numbers because they foreshadow tomorrow's big report. Today we have a super busy day on the economic calendar. 9:45 PMI services index, 10 a.m. ISM non-manufacturing, factory orders, 10:30 natural gas inventory report, and then the big one of the day where we do really well with a lot of volatility is at 11 a.m. The EIA, or the Department of Energy's crude oil inventory report. That's what we're going to trade together, and we're in 1 hour of one day. You could make your whole weekly income, and if it's really good, your whole monthly. 1 hour of one day. I kid you not. You'll see today in the room how that's possible. Ton of volatility, and we tend to trade it well. It's not always a holy grail. I'm not here to tell you that today's trading room day will be the best ever. All right. Obviously, I hope the market gods send us some optimism just for the sake of all the trade pros. And as a trader, you have to be prepared to fight through every single day. Whether it's good or it's bad, you got to wake up with the intention that it's going to be good and make the best of it. And that's the mentality you have to walk in with. All right. 4:30, you have money supply and Fed balance sheet, and that wraps up the economic calendar for the day. We have a busy one. A lot of stuff on the docket, with the primary one being at 11 a.m. crude oil inventory. All right. So if you registered to check out the trading room today, great. Let's get in there now. I'm going to turn around. If not, there still might be time if you click the link in the description of yesterday's video. I don't know if it's here today, but to be honest with you, right now I want to focus with the people who are here and build this up and have a great day. So I appreciate you guys on YouTube. I'm going to say goodbye. Have a wonderful day. I think early on, look to sell the early strength. Mid-morning, catch the reversal. I think there's going to be some upside. So I'm starting out with a fade trade against a strong momentum overnight. And we're going to set that trade up and play it out in real time with all of our traders in the room. You guys have a great day. See you tomorrow morning. Huge day, non-farm payrolls. It starts early. Wake up earlier around 8 a.m. Sit at the trading desk, read around. And if you're an elite member, if you want to be an elite member, we're going to trade this together live. These non-farm payrolls are very opportunistic, and we love them. So we'll be here early tomorrow. Take care and have a great day. Thanks for tuning in. Goodbye, YouTube. Catch you tomorrow. All right, trade pros in the room and our YouTube community that joined us for today's session. Let me get started by first and foremost introducing you to